All right, welcome. Let's jump right in. We often think of healing as this incredible gift, right? But what if it was also a curse? Today, we're diving into a really powerful and personal story from a man who claims that the very act of healing other people is literally destroying his own life. And this is the central claim from the account we're looking at today. Energy healing actually shortens your life. I mean, that statement just flips the script on everything we think we know about healing, doesn't it? It frames it not as some gentle gift, but as a dangerous, life-shortening sacrifice. So yeah, let's unpack that. So how do we get to such a shocking conclusion? Well, we're going to explore the story of a man who calls himself the blind Muslim yogi. And it's really important to get this up front. Everything we're about to cover is based completely on his own words from his personal testimony. So who is this man making these pretty extraordinary claims? He goes by Osman. He describes himself as a master-level bioenergy healer, someone with telepathic abilities who has spent, get this, nearly 50 years studying with masters all over the world. And his specialty, the really tough cases, critical care and life-threatening illnesses. And he's super clear about one thing. He says, whatever I speak on are from my own experience. This isn't some theories he's just read in a book. He really frames this entire story as his lived reality, his personal experience. And that's the lens we have to use to look at everything that comes next. Okay, so this brings us to the absolute core of his belief system. The central idea is that to truly heal someone, you have to give a piece of yourself away, and you have to absorb a piece of their suffering in return. So from his perspective, energy healing isn't about, channeling some benevolent universal force from the cosmos. He sees it as a direct transaction. He's literally spending his own life force, his own vitality, and in exchange, he absorbs the patient's negative energy, what he even calls their bad luck. And get this, he puts a startlingly specific number on this sacrifice. Based on his own calculations, he believes his work as a healer has shaved at least 20 years off his own life. But, this cost isn't just some abstract number. He claims the sacrifice has left a trail of really concrete, devastating consequences across every single part of his life. He describes this just devastating pattern of loss that has touched the most fundamental parts of his existence. His finances crumbled, his relationships failed, and ultimately, his own body has paid the price. Let's talk about the money. The financial toll he describes is staggering. He claims to have lost hundreds of millions. He even talks about pouring nearly 2 decades into a single business, only to watch it completely collapse. And he directly links these failures to that negative energy he believes he absorbed from his patients. And the damage, he says, didn't stop there. It went deep into his personal life as well. I mean, look at this number. He points to 6 divorces as even more evidence of the profound destructive toll his work has taken on his ability to hold on to a relationship. I accept all the bad luck. I got hardly any friends left. Wow. I mean, that quote just powerfully captures the deep isolation he's talking about. He's saying he knowingly accepts the bad luck from other people, even though he's fully aware that it has cost him pretty much all of his friends. So all of this, it builds to the most dramatic event in his entire account, the moment, he claims, when the sacrifice became completely irreversible. Okay, so he tells the story of a time he took on 3 critical care patients, all at once, a risk he knew was just immense. The effort, he says, left him bedridden for 2 weeks. So weak, he had to drag himself on his elbows just to get water. Now, he claims he saved 2 of those lives, but that huge output of energy came with the ultimate price. He lost his eyesight. And this is where it gets really interesting, because we're presented with 2 conflicting realities. On one hand, you have his perspective, that his blindness is a direct energetic result of his healing work. But then he also acknowledges the official medical viewpoint, an adverse reaction to a vaccine. And that, as he notes, is the one with empirically measurable evidence. Right, so after hearing about all of this, immense personal loss, finances, relationships, even his sight, the obvious question is, why? Why would anyone do it? His justification, in his mind, is actually pretty simple. He says, how many lives did I save? I can't count. I was happy. It was worth the sacrifice for me. He says he can't even count the number of lives he's saved. people he believes had absolutely no other hope. And in his worldview, that outcome makes every single personal sacrifice worth it. But here's the thing. He isn't just resigned to this fate. He says his mission has now shifted. He's trying to find a solution, a way to counteract these draining effects, not just for himself, but for all other energy healers out there. So he ends his whole account not with despair, but with this new sense of purpose. He says, "I'm working on solutions, and I think I found some." He claims he's on the verge of a breakthrough, and he makes a promise. Once he can prove it works on himself, he will share it with the world. And so, this whole story leaves us with the central question at the heart of his testimony. It's an account that really forces us to ask, if healing truly comes at a cost, can a price ever be too high?